Hi everyone, this is Teo from parkablocks.com. Welcome to another time-lapse sketching video. As usual, this video is created from a full-length tutorial that I have made for my Patreon supporters. So if you want to watch the full-length tutorial with all the instructions, you can support me on Patreon. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can pledge a certain dollar amount to help support the creator that you want. In addition to Patreon, I'm also making this video available on my Gumroad page as a series of video tutorials collected into a bundle. So this is going into one of the video bundles on my Gumroad page. It will be available in the future, but if you are Patreon supporters, you can watch this tutorial already. So for today's tutorial, I will be drawing a busy street scene from Bangkok. I have just came back from Bangkok a few weeks ago, so I drew a lot there and took some reference photo. So this sketch that you are looking at is actually drawn from reference photo. If you want to practice, you can check out the reference photo in the video description below. The link is there. For this sketch, I use pen and ink only. I'm not going to be using watercolor, and the pen that I'm using is actually the brown colored Copic multi-liner. I saw this pen at the art store and I didn't know that Copic has other colors other than black, so this particular color, it interests me. I was trying to decide whether or not this looks like sepia, but I think it's actually darker than sepia. The pen just works like normal multi-liner pens. Now for this sketch, I try to draw the foreground elements first with the thicker lines. So for example, you can see the cars in the front that is closer to you. Those are drawn with a 0.5 line so that the lines are thicker, they have more impact, more contrast. People will look at them a bit longer. And for the cars that are being overlapped, that are behind, that are further away in the background, I use a thinner line, a 0.3, and then those cars that are really far behind, I use a 0.1. Now even though there are no people on the street in the reference photo, I can still draw in people because, well, this is a sketch, so unlike a photograph where you can only capture exactly what's in front of you, with drawings, with sketches like this, you can add some things that are not there, or you can take away elements that are not there. So there's this flexibility. I would say that this is the artistic interpretation, so different artists will have different interpretations. So that's why when you look at the work from different artists, even though they are drawing the same thing, they are going to look different. The style is going to be different, the mood is going to be different, the feeling that it's going to evoke is going to be different. So that's the fun thing about drawing. And now I'm drawing the middle ground, which consists of this building here. This is the light yellow building in the photo. I'm using a 0.1 line so that the lines are thinner compared to the lines in the foreground, which are thicker. So by using lines of different thickness, you can have the viewer focus on different areas. With thicker lines, they get the attention. With thinner lines, as they fade away, the lines actually become thinner. They do not get as much attention, and they are quite good for drawing background and middle ground, and also for creating little textures that you can add to your scene, but you do not want those textures to take away the attention, so you can use thinner lines for them. And this building that I'm drawing now, I'm using a 0.1 line, so you can see that the line here is much thinner compared to the 0.3, and also of course the 0.5. Using lines of varying thickness can also portray a sense of depth and also perspective. For example, in perspective, things that are in the foreground, things that are closer to you, they are going to be big. But the same subject, the same element, as it moves further away into the background, it's going to become smaller. So a thick line that's in the foreground is going to become a thin line as it goes back into the background. So that's why you can create this sense of perspective by using different line widths. Personally, I find that changing pens while drawing is a bit tedious, a bit inconvenient, so I usually draw with a fountain pen that is capable of producing thin and thick lines. But if you want predictability, then you can go with multi-liner pens or technical pens because their line widths, they are always consistent. So now I'm drawing the cables, the power cables. I'm using very thin lines because some of the cables, they extend all the way to the back. However, as you look at the sketch right now, it's a bit flat because even though the line widths are different, they are still quite close together. So I use a 0.5, 0.3 and 0.1. To get more contrast, to get more variety, I could have used a 1.0 or 0.7 or 0.3. Basically just make sure that the line widths have a bigger step in difference. So a 1.0 versus 0.7, that's a 0.3 point difference, but a 0.5 versus a 0.3, that's just a 0.2 difference. Sometimes differences like this, even though they are small, they do matter. And now I'm using a thicker line to draw some of the power cables. As mentioned earlier, the power cables, they appear to be a bit flat because the line widths, they are not too different. So I wanted to use a much thicker line to draw in the thicker power cable. So it gives that sense of variety to make the scene look more interesting. So this is the quick sketch of the scene. I took around 1 hour to draw this. Now this sketchbook that I have is an A5 sketchbook. Oftentimes people would ask me how long do I take to draw a sketch. For an A5 sketchbook like this, for a single page, usually I take around 30 to 45 minutes just for the pen and ink sketch. So the larger the sketchbook, the more time I will take. And that is all for today's sketching video. I hope you have enjoyed this. So if you want to support me and my work, my YouTube channel, to help me, to motivate me to create more videos, you can support me on my Patreon page. I will put the link in the video description below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.